So I'm getting ready to leave my second stop. I'm doing phenomenal on time. I'm ahead of schedule for the most part, and this doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it's a good feeling. Real quick, I want to address a couple comments. Well, I'm gonna address a few comments, but I'm gonna talk about 2 comments real quick. For the person that asked me about my dolly yesterday, where do I get my dolly from? So we get our dollies from a company called Magco, MAGCOA.com. You can go to the website. They have a variety of different, I said dollies, hand trucks. There's a difference between a hand truck and a dolly. I want to be clear about that. Sometimes I make the mistake and say dolly, but it's a difference, all right? This is a hand truck. So go to the website. You can check out their selection, right? But he asked me about this particular piece right here. This is called a retractable handle or a pull-out bar, either one. And I've talked about this in the past on previous videos. I love this thing, man. I mean, it just makes pulling away from the load so much easier, especially if you are handling a heavy load. This just makes it a lot easier than using your boot to pull away from it. That's what a lot of guys do. They just use their foot. I used to do the same thing, you know, back when I was doing beverage delivery, but this makes it so much easier, man. You don't have to worry about using your boot or any of that. Also, if you do plan on getting one of these, just make sure your hand truck has these pieces right here. These are called stair climbers, and they speak for themselves. So basically, you know, those help when you're going downstairs. And hopefully you guys don't have to go up too many stairs. I know a lot of you food service drivers probably do. But if you just lean the hand truck back like this, and then just go up the step one by one like this, leaning the stair climbers up against the stairs, it'll help you go up. Or a curb. You know, you may have to go up a curb. If you don't have a curb ramp, just lean your hand truck back a little bit and lift up. It makes it a lot easier going up a curb. And sometimes you don't necessarily have to use the stair climbers. If the curb is small enough, sometimes what I do, I go up forward like this and get on the curb that way. So it just depends. With me, it just depends on the curb. I use the front and the back. It just depends. All right, so that's the one comment I wanted to address. Well, let me stay in here because the humidity is gonna fall up my lens. What's the other one? Oh, I seen somebody drop a comment and they were like, they're getting ready to start with PFG and they're coming from Core-Mark, and they wanted to know if the transition was gonna be easy or not, or how would the transition be coming from Core-Mark to food service. In my personal opinion, I think it'll be a pretty easy transition. I mean, you guys over at Core-Mark, you guys do similar work. I see you guys humping. That's a pretty physically demanding job as well. So you're going up and down the ramp, carrying those totes and whatnot. I think it'll be a pretty easy transition. So that's my opinion on that. And by the way, good luck to you with PFG. All right, gang, so today I'm at my 3rd stop right now. This is actually, on a normal day, this would have been my 4th stop. But as y'all can see, I parked all the way in the back this time. I'm just gonna drop the ramp right here. If you guys remember, if you watched the last video, I usually park a little bit further out. And I left a little bit of space right here. Some cars will still be able to get around this building. No trucks, but cars for sure. So this is where we at. I'm gonna pull my ramp out and drop it about right here. Hopefully we can make it. We should be able to. For
should be able to. Got this little dirt pile out here in the way, but it should be good. Let's see.
I was trying so hard not to mess my boots up, but I stepped in that mud over there, as you guys can see. Look at this, man. Look at this. Hate that, man. They may have something in here where I can spray my shoes off. If not, I know I can spray them off at my next stop, so. Hate that, bro. Guys, so we made it to the last stop of the day. Let me hit my flashes just for a second while I'm talking to you guys. Made it to the last stop. Only 4 stops today, 8 stops total. So let me tell you guys why I'm ahead of schedule today. Number one, well, mainly because they took a stop off of me. So it was brought to my attention yesterday by one of my coworkers that one of my stops that I delivered to on Thursday, actually one of the biggest stops on my route, they took an order to him yesterday. They took an order to 3 of my stops on my route. 1 that I work today, 2 that I work tomorrow. I still have those 2 on for tomorrow. So not having that second stop, it allowed me to just basically get ahead of the game. So I mean, that stop normally take me, you know, an hour and 20 minutes or so to work, and I didn't have them. So that's why I'm ahead right now. I mean, it's 8:03 a.m. Central Standard Time. Again, last stop of the day. I'm headed to the hotel. 2-hour drive from here, basically. And you know, I'm done. 1,235 total cases on my route. That stop they took yesterday, they put in 235 cases, and then they took another 100 and, you know, something a piece in my other 2 stops, which they still getting the order tomorrow. But I guess the 235 cases that my stop got, that I normally work today, I guess they already, you know, probably had quite a bit left over from a previous delivery, so they didn't need another order for today. They may actually go there tomorrow, though. They'll probably just put it on another route, because I'm sure they're gonna need a weekend order. So we have another route that sometimes works that customer as well, so he'll probably take another order over there tomorrow. But yeah, man, you know, like I told you guys in the past, man, I average anywhere from like 1,300 to 1,600 plus cases on my Thursday, Friday run. Talking to my coworker yesterday, he said that, and I don't know how true this is, it probably is true, but I haven't talked to any one of my managers, but they said they did it to lighten up the load a little bit on my Thursday, Friday. So it's cool. I'm not really complaining, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, you know, it's cutting into the bag a little bit. It's cutting into the bag. That's 235 cases that is not going to be on my route. And actually, it probably would have been more than that, because I'm actually would have worked it an additional day out, right? Because my delivery is for the weekend. And like I said, they'll probably get another delivery tomorrow since they got one on Wednesday. So my delivery is normally a little bit heavier. It's closer to 300 cases, but it is what it is, man. You know, like I said, I'm not really complaining. Sometimes it's okay to lighten up the load a little bit, but you know, just don't make it a habit. I like getting all my coins, man. I like getting all my coins. So, oh yeah, I got another comment that I'm gonna address a little bit later. I'll probably talk about it when I get to the hotel, man. Let me go ahead and get this stop completed. Let me see how many cases they're getting today. I didn't even look. 200 and something for sure. 257 cases going in here. So yeah, man, let's rock and roll. Listen, I'll tap back in with you guys when I get to the hotel. It's draft day too, right? I think it's the NFL draft tonight. I'm not a big football fan anymore. I rarely watch football now. Just started watching college football when Dion started coaching with Colorado. But prior to that, I haven't watched football, college or pros in a very long time, man. So, but I am gonna watch a little bit of the NFL draft, probably, you know, I don't know, maybe an hour or so, if that, half an hour. I definitely want to watch the first 20 picks because I think it comes on at 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. I got to get my sleep. I got to get right back up there to run my route, so I'm not going to be up all night watching that. But yeah, I'll probably check out a little bit of it, man.
Somebody didn't want him anymore. Hey, how are you?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, gang, so as you can see, I'm in my hotel room now. Let me just give you a little tour of the room. Something simple. Matter of fact, I gotta take this. I always take these paper towels out of here. But just standard. Got a little fridge right here, microwave. Put my paper towels right there. Got my courtesy bottles of water right there. Just, you know, something basic. Nothing too crazy. Definitely beats. Listen, when you're a Diamond member, you get the perks, man. You get the perks. You get the parking spots too. Free parking up front for Diamond members. But regular desk right here, you guys see. Nothing too crazy. I always come in here and get this little laundry bag and, you know, put all the dirty clothes in, man. You guys know how it is, just standard stuff. And then put them in my bag so I don't have to just put my dirty clothes in my bag. I just put them in here and be all set. Now, when I get ready to sit down here, I always like to put, you know, a little towel on here, cover the chair up with towels and all that type of stuff like that. You know, I just can't sit on, you know, just a bare chair. I got my Lysol in my bag too. Got to spray some stuff down. It's just me. Yep, but that's it, man. Got the little standard toilet or whatnot. You know, nothing crazy. They just put this little phone charger in here. This new. Charge up your phone. Pretty cool little charger right there. But yeah, so that's about it in here. I'm going to go downstairs and finish this conversation with you guys, man. So I'll see y'all down there. They got me on the second floor today. We got to get down to the lobby, man. going down. All right, guys, so overall, we had a good day, man. Can't really complain. Got to an early start. Pretty smooth day. Easy day, as a matter of fact. 4 stops. We unloaded a little bit more than half of the cases that I have on my trailer. We'll finish up the remaining 4 stops tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow goes just as good as today. But I talked about addressing some comments early on in this video. So it's only one last comment that I want to address. And this comment was actually left last night. This person says, and this was a comment that he left on a post that I made a couple days ago. It was a picture of me in front of my truck. I was getting ready to start my route on my second day. So I was in the process of leaving the hotel. So this person says, "You need to get out of that hand unload already, brother. That stuff is for rookies." So basically, you know, he's saying that drivers who have experience shouldn't be doing this type of work. This job is for rookies. That's essentially what he was saying. And, you know, shout out to him, man. This is not a shot at him. I just wanted to address it publicly, man, because I think his comment is actually valid, right? And I think you can make a valid argument on the outside looking in. If you see somebody who has driving experience, and, you know, in my case specifically, I also have all my endorsements, I think it's valid to look at a situation like that and say, man, you know, you got a lot of driving experience. You can go work for pretty much any company and do any type of job. Excuse me. Why are you unloading the trailer? Why are you doing touch freight? You know, why are you doing food service specifically? Simple answer, because I want to. I mean, it's not complicated, you know what I mean, for me. Very simple answer. I've been doing this now, you know, like I've mentioned time and time again on my channel, almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years in a couple months in June. And like I said, man, just to reiterate, I don't hate my job. I don't hate it. You know, if I was in a situation where, you know, I was constantly working a ton of hours every week, I'm just talking about me personally, right? If I was constantly working a lot of hours every week, you know, if I was dealing with bad equipment, excuse me, if I was dealing with bad equipment, having to drive a truck that shouldn't be on the road, a truck that doesn't have AC, always breaking down, having to constantly deal with trailers that are terribly loaded, like every day or every time I run my route. If I had to deal with bad managers, and if I was constantly, you know, harassed by dispatch or ATMs or TMs, wanting to know my every move, where am I, what are you doing, all these type of things. If I was in a bad working environment, you know, if that was my situation, I would have been left food service. But that's just not my experience, man. And I think, and I truly believe this, if I was to make a video entitled "Food Service Sucks," and I just went on a rant bashing food service, and talked about how terrible the job was and how I just hated food service and that everybody in food service is crazy. Like, if I just made a video just talking down on food service, I think that'd probably be a highly viewed video, because I think people gravitate towards the negativity. And, you know, I think when you have a positive mindset and a positive outlook towards your job or just life in general, man, I just think there's always going to be somebody who will have some pushback and challenge you. And for me, man, I just think, and this is a little bit of advice that I give anybody out there, man. And if it sounds like I'm whispering, like I said, I'm trying to talk a little low because I got somebody working next door and the people over here in the lobby, right? But if I can give you guys any advice, man, live your life and don't let other people live your life for you. Everybody's not gonna always like what you do. Everybody is gonna always have their opinions. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can have the most positive thing to say. You can be doing the most positive thing. You can be, you know, a philanthropist and just having a positive impact on a lot of people, and somebody will still find something negative to say about it, or try to critique what you're doing, or have some type of criticism. And at the end of the day, man, you gotta live your life. Do whatever makes you feel happy. Do whatever makes your life better. It may be unpopular to a lot of people, but that's okay. They're not living your life. And so that's my answer. You know what I mean? Can I go work for another company? Can I do something else? Of course I can. And at some point, who knows? I might. I don't know what the future holds. But as of right now, I'm cool. I'm cool, man. I'm not even gonna go down the list of reasons as to why I'm still working for Gordon Food Service. I felt like I've already covered that numerous times on my channel. So if you're new to the channel, you haven't heard me talk about it, maybe I'll talk about it another day. Just to kind of catch you guys up to speed with what everybody else already knows. But yeah, man, I'm cool. When the time comes where it's time for me to part ways, then I'll do that, right? I'll make the best decision for me and my family. But I'm cool. I'm cool, man. I do not hate my job, bro. I do not hate my job. So, you know, that's what it is for me, man. Shout out to all the food service drivers out there, man, the rookies and the tenured drivers. You know, you got guys doing this, man, that's been doing food service for over a decade. You know, I've interviewed a food service driver on my channel. The video is still up. U.S. Foods driver at the time, and this video is over 2 years old, but at the time, this person already had 22 years in. We got drivers at Gordon Food Service that's been with Gordon Food Service over 20 years. So, you know, they make my little almost 6 years look like chump change. And somebody will have something to say about that, but that's them, right? That's what they chose to do, to work for this company for that long. Again, man, everybody, you know, made their own decisions, their own choices. And that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, man. Somebody will say that's crazy, but it's not them. So that's how I look at it, man. At the end of the day, we all make our own decisions, and we gotta live with that. That's what it boils down to for me. But yeah, man, listen, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, man, go back upstairs, eat my lunch, and relax, edit this video. You guys may see this today, you may not, who knows. Oh, I do want to give a shout out real quick, man. I was in Publix last week and I was doing a little shopping, and I looked down towards the end of the aisle and I seen a guy walk past and he threw his hands up. I didn't know who he was, but I still threw my hands up, hollered at him. And a few moments later, that person came down the aisle and he was like, man, what's up, bro? You know, we dapped it up. And he was like, man, you inspire me, bro. I watch your YouTube channel. And he was like, man, keep doing what you're doing. And this, like I said, this was in a grocery store, man, in Publix. And bro said, man, my son watched you, you inspired him. And he said, man, I'm a truck driver. I won't say the company you work for, but that was love, man. I appreciate that. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing about having a platform like this where you're able to impact just people you don't know personally, just random people. And, you know, I try to be a positive representation of what a truck driver looks like from my perspective, right? A company driver, I should say. And I'm not the only one. There are a lot of examples to watch on this platform. I actually am subscribed to some of them, but you know, I try to carry myself in a professional manner, with character, with, you know, respect and integrity. And that's what I try to display on my platform, man. I understand I have a lot of eyes on me, particularly that work for Gorin Food Service. And I'm aware that, you know, people tell me all the time, you know, this person know you, you know, everybody at this particular location know who you are and all that. Like, I'm fully aware of, you know, the amount of people who watch me on YouTube. And I get a lot of love from my peers and just, you know, people within the organization. And that's dope, that's cool. I appreciate that. And like I said, man, I'm not on here to promote food service. I'm just simply on here just showing you guys a little bit about, you know, what I do. That's it. But yeah, man, that was dope, man. So shout out to my guy, Mike, who I met in Publix last week, bro. If you watch this video, it was great meeting you, man. I'll probably see you again, you know, at some point around the city, man. But that was love. And that's what it's all about, man. Just, you know, having those type of interactions is priceless, bro. That outweighs all the negativity that you receive as a content creator, you know, on this platform, because you get that from time to time. It just is what it is. It comes with being a content creator. And that's cool. That's what I signed up for. That's what I love the most, bro. Just being able to be an inspiration and a motivation to others. That's probably the best part about this. But that's it, man. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.